In today's session, you are going to learn about case for planning and case against planning. In this one, case for planning, under that, you are going to learn about to accelerate and strengthen market mechanism, to remove the unemployment, to remove poverty and inequalities, to achieve balanced development. In the case against planning, you are going to learn about the loss of freedom, elimination of initiative, high cost of management, difficulty in advance calculation. First, we will enter into the case for planning. To accelerate and strengthen market mechanism. Actually, each and every underdeveloped countries, there is the market mechanism is the imperfectly. Okay, imperfectly only they are organizing because of the ignorance as well as the unfamiliarity with the market mechanism. Okay, the planned economy, it will be a better substitute for the free economy. The planned economy, it will be the better substitute for the free economy. To remove unemployment. Capital, it is more, isn't it? It is more? No, not at all. Actually, it is very less. It is very less in the underdeveloped countries. And but the labor, they only more there. Okay, capital is scarce and the labor is more. The problem of providing gainful employment opportunities to increasing the labor force is a very difficult task for each and every underdeveloped countries. So for that purpose, the underdeveloped countries, they need the planning for the further stressed by the necessity of removing the widespread unemployment. They want to remove the unemployment. For that purpose, they need the planning. In underdeveloped countries, they need the planning. The capital is so less, but the labor is more there. So for that purpose, to eradicate the employment problem, we need the planning in the underdeveloped countries. To achieve balanced development, how to achieve the balanced development. Actually, in the there is an absence of the sufficient enterprises, okay, in the underdeveloped countries. For that purpose, the planning authority, they should take the initiative for planning the balanced development of the economy. How they will balance the development of the economy? For that means they are concentrating in the agriculture, industrial sectors, as well as in the service sectors. In these three sectors, they should balance the economy. They should balance the economy. Then only the development will be there. Most probably, there should be the expansion of the domestic and foreign trade sectors. There should be the expansion in the domestic as well as in the foreign trade sectors too. In this, to achieve the balanced development, what are the things we should develop there? Okay, already I told we should develop the agriculture, industrial as well as the service sector, isn't it? But they given here first the development of the agriculture and industrial sector. Reorganization of agriculture releases surplus labor force which can be absorbed by the industrial sector. Actually, we reorganized our agriculture, isn't it? So what we are doing, we are utilize, that means we are using the so many machines in the agriculture sector. Then there is the so much of the labor force, those who are not having the job at all, the employment opportunity at all. So that persons we can able to appoint them in the industrial sector. To we can able to give them the employment opportunity, as well as they what they will do, they will the people also know about the how to convert the agricultural goods into the industrial goods, isn't it? So we can able to appoint them. Development of the infrastructure. The agriculture and industrial sectors cannot develop in the absence of economic and social overheads, isn't it? The building of canals, roads, railways, power station, indispensable for agricultural and industrial development. Infrastructure involves huge capital investment, that we know. We need the huge investment for the infrastructure. The state alone can provide strong infrastructure by planning. By the proper planning only they can able to provide the proper infrastructure, because for development of the agricultural, we are saying if you are developing the agricultural and industrial sector, definitely the economic level it will increase. Not only in this one, already I told, in the service sector also we must we must develop the service sector also. It should be developed in the underdeveloped countries. For that purpose, what we should do, we should develop the other infrastructure of our country, canals, by building the canals, roads, railways, everything we should build up there. Then only our infrastructure it will change. Development of money and capital markets. Money and capital markets are not adequate in the underdeveloped countries. In the underdeveloped countries, there is money and capital markets are not adequate. This factor as an obstacle to the growth of industries as well as for the trade. So planning alone can provide sound money market and the capital market. That means in each and everything there we need the planning for the success of the development of the country. To remove the poverty and inequalities. Planning is the only path which open to underdeveloped countries, that I already said, for raising the national as well as the per capita income. We should reduce the inequality and poverty and increase the employment opportunity. What we should do? We should reduce the inequality and poverty, and as well as we should increase the employment opportunity. Through this alone, we can develop our country. Actually, Arthur Lewis said planning is more necessary in which countries? Only in the backward countries, to devise ways and means and to make concentrated efforts to raise the national income. To raise the national income in each and every country, we need the planning. That also especially in the underdeveloped countries. Those are the countries which were, what are the countries which were in the backward position, everything they need the planning. Okay. Next, case against planning. Case against planning. This is the failure of the market mechanism only invites the state intervention in economic activities through the planning. The prime goal of economic planning are stabilization in developed countries and growth in the lower developed countries. But economic planning also is not free from limitations. It is not the free from limitation. It may retard private initiatives, hamper freedom of choice, involve huge cost of administration, and also stop the automatic adjustment of the price mechanism. Okay, what are the arguments that against the planning? Case against the planning we will see now. Loss of freedom. The absence of freedom in decision making may act as an obstacle for economic growth. The economic freedom comprises freedom of consumption, freedom of choice of occupation, freedom to produce, and the freedom to fix prices for the products. The consumers, producers, and the workers enjoy no freedom of choice. There is no freedom of choice for the consumers, producers, and workers. The decision by the governments are not always rational, but freedom to private producers will be misused. The private producers, what they are doing there, freedom when they are giving, the government giving there, they are misusing it. Profit will be given top priority, welfare will be neglected. Next, elimination of initiative. The absence of private ownership and profit motive discourages entrepreneurs from taking bold decisions and risk taking. As all enjoy equal reward under planned economy, irrespective of their effort, efficiency, and productivity, nobody is interested in undertaking new and risky venues. The bureaucracy and red tapeism, which are the features of planned economy, cripple the initiative as they cause procedural delay and time loss. Most probably, happens in the economical level when we are planning that. High cost management. The cost of management of the economic affairs outweighs the benefits of planning. Plan formulation and implementation involve engagement of an army of staff for data collection and administration. The better we try to plan, the more planners we need. Isn't it? Definitely we need the more planners. Inadequate data as well as the faulty estimations and improper implementation of plans results in wastage of resources as well as cause either surplus or shortages in the resources. Difficulty in advanced calculation. The producers and consumers adjust their supply and demand based on price changes. There is no such a mechanism in a planned economy. It is also very difficult to put the calculation into practice under planning. Excess supply and excess demand can also happen in the market oriented economy. Most probably, it has happened in many experimentistic economies, including the United States. The right mix of market mechanism and state intervention in right proportion will promise accelerated economic growth accompanied by stability and social justice. That means we are having so many limitations when we are planning that. We are saying to remove the, that means we should take for to remove the poverty and to remove the unemployment. For that purpose we should plan. That means we need the economic development in our country, means definitely we need the planning. But in that planning also we are having so many obstacles. If we are removing that obstacles alone, we can able to develop our economy. Not only in our country, I am saying in all over the world which were very underdeveloped, there undeveloped countries, that means the developing countries. Okay, developing countries as well as the low developed countries both need the planning, proper planning, with the freedom to follow that planning. Thank you, kids.